Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Allah Loves. Allah mentions in the Quran, Wallahu yuhibbul sabirin, and Allah loves the patient. Allah loves those people who are engaged in patience. Now the connection of patience to trust is obvious. You can't be patient with Allah unless you trust Allah. You can't be patient with how things are going in life until you understand that someone else is in control of that life of yours. You're not going to be able to restrain yourself from acting out unless you have a solid understanding that Allah is acting in a way that's in your best favor. And so you have this connection between tawakkul and sabr that is very necessary. And Allah mentions that He loves those who trust Him and He loves those who are patient. Asking Allah to be a patient person is a good thing. Asking Allah that you have the quality of sabr, that Allah makes us amongst those who are patient, is a good thing. But here's the thing. Patience is not just restricted to hard times. Patience is something that we practice throughout our lives with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How do we do so? Patience in hardship is obvious. We earn Allah's love when we are patient in hardship because we choose to restrain ourselves for His reward and His pleasure instead. And Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anhu says something very profound in this regard. He says that most people on the Day of Judgment don't enter Jannah because of some good deed that they did, but because of a hardship that they faced and the patience that they showed in response to that hardship. So you prepare your whole life and something is thrust upon you. A major trial is thrust upon you, but you express your patience with Allah, your love of Allah, despite that hardship that's based upon a foundation of trust, tawakkul that we spoke about last time, and that allows you to attain the ultimate reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His pleasure on the Day of Judgment subhanahu wa ta'ala. So patience in hardship is very obvious. You hold yourself back. It's restraint because you see Allah's pleasure rather than your own misfortune. You see the goal of Allah's pleasure rather than your imminent hardship. And that goal is able to see you through that hardship. There's patience in ease, patience with your own desires, patience with shahwa here. Patience and ease here, what that means is that you hold yourself back from acting out on your lusts and your desires in a way that's impermissible. That's why Allah mentions Sawm. He calls fasting patience. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. Allah says seek help and closeness to Him through patience and prayer. And the scholars mention that patience here is actually replacing the word fasting. The act that we are engaged in right now is one of sabr, of patience, of restraining ourselves in ease. And when a person loses patience in times of ease, they act upon those desires as quickly as they can because they think you only live once. But we know that you live eternally, not in this life, but afterwards. And so you don't rush to act upon those desires and to live out all of your lusts and to try to consume all of the blessings that are around you or all of the trials disguised as blessings around you because you think that you're not going to live again after this. You are patient in your ease and patient with your desires, restraining yourself because you know that the reward that Allah guaranteed you in the hereafter is far greater than anything that you could have in this life. So again, the element of Allah's pleasure and reward is able to get you through your ease, just as it's able to get you through your hardship. The last form of patience that the scholars mention in this regard is the patience in your worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you're not patient in worshiping Allah, in upholding the commands of Allah upon you, then that shows a lack of regard for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the patience in the maintenance of those acts of worship is a form of expression that you are willing to stay the course for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because you want to see these good deeds accepted and done right and done with ihsan, done in a way that shows excellence and receives the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in return. Wallahu yuhibbul sabirin, and Allah loves the patient. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst them. Allahumma ameen. See you all next time inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.